The newsday continues here in One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. The Foreign Affairs Department guarantees that contingency plans are in place for overseas Filipino workers in Taiwan in case tensions between the island and China escalate. The statement follows remarks made by Chinese Ambassador Wang Xilian over the weekend, saying that the Philippines should oppose Taiwan's independence if it really cares about the 150,000 Filipino workers in the island, which many perceived as a threat. Though the Chinese embassy claims Wang was misunderstood or misquoted, the DFA assures the public that it is committed to promote the welfare and security of migrant workers in Taiwan. The agency earlier noted, though, that they are refraining from giving a statement on the Taiwan issue, as they believe it's best to pursue a more diplomatic approach. In its statement, the agency says its dealings with all countries are based on mutual respect and adherence to general principles of international law. And the DFA also notes that the Philippines offers its friendship to all. The Migrant Workers Department says OFWs in Saudi Arabia whose company shut down may now begin processing their claims. The department says OFWs may apply at the DMW via Saudi claims at dmw.gov while following a templated letter. The agency also warned against those planning applying with fake claims, as the Saudi government would be last to verify the application. The agency says the number supplied in an OFW's ICAMA or identification is unique to every holder and would not take long to trace.
Yung pinakaparusa sa kanila, yung sa tingin ko yung aksaya ng oras at panahon nila eh. Kasi hindi sila makakalusot sa Saudi. Ngayon kung never naman sila tumuntong ng Saudi, never naman sila nagtrabaho sa any of the construction firms na na-bankrupt, malalaman yan based sa database ng Saudi Arabia. Kasi bawat foreign worker may ICAMA number which is unique to that worker. So, dun sa mga gustong magtangka, wag na po kayo mag-aksaya ng panahon. Siguro, ano na lang.
Meanwhile, the DMW admits it needs to work on raising awareness on the socio-cultural environment of countries where OFWs are deployed. This following news that Filipino workers were jailed in the UAE over a TikTok video.
Ang isang nakikita namin na phenomenon that I'm quite concerned about is the use of social media by our overseas workers. I think we need to strengthen yung awareness raising about yung the use of TikTok, other social media platforms na later on nagiging evidence against them. So, marami kasing hindi aware na may mga cyber laws din. And also, yung sinasabi nilang crimes against public morals, especially in the Middle East.
President Bongbong Marcos touts the Philippines' strategic location as the country hopes to find new ground for cooperation with Czech Republic. The president highlighted the importance of collaborating with Czech Republic following their bilateral meeting on Monday. According to the president, he and Czech Prime Minister Peter Fiala discussed issues on defense, trade, and investment, as well as judicial and labor cooperation. President Marcos also said they touched upon geopolitical issues, such as conflicts that may affect the two countries.
We recognize the importance of building on the existing areas of cooperation and exploring new opportunities for collaboration. I also emphasize the Philippines' strategic location in Southeast Asia and its potential as a gateway to the region, to ASEAN. We had a very interesting exchange of views regarding regional and international issues, including the West Philippine Sea and cross-strait relations and the war in Ukraine, amongst others. We both emphasize our country's shared commitment to democracy, to human rights, and the rule of law.
Prime Minister Fiala also shares that the Philippines is the first stop in his 10-day trip in Asia. The Czech leader says he brought with him a delegation of businessmen in hopes of finding more ways to cooperate with the Philippines. The Prime Minister also said they are looking to find ways to give more Filipinos opportunities to work in the Czech Republic.
Our companies offer solutions in many fields, many areas: agriculture, aviation, transportation, or space technologies. Defense and security cooperation is very important. We also highly appreciate the Philippine system of the recruiting workers for work in other countries. Czech companies are very satisfied with Philippine citizens. We are discussing the possibilities to expand migration for work.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Diego Castro. The municipality of Pola in Oriental Mindoro has sustained an estimated damage of around 130 million pesos due to the oil spill. Pola Mayor Jennifer Cruz reports that the situation along their shores is improving, with the amount of spilled oil being reduced to 60 to 70%. However, Cruz says cash and aid distributed by the national government to affected residents is not enough. Over 4,000 fisher folk have been affected by the oil spill.
Kaya pinag-isipan natin at presenta natin sa ating mahal na Pangulo yung alternative na livelihood programs for them.
Opo.
Yung programa na kailangan ay yung pangmatagalan na kahit tumagal yung ating oil spill, for example, mga 1 year na tumagal ito, kailangan natin pag-isipan at ibigay sa kanila yung tama.
The Bureau of Internal Revenue hopes to see less taxpayers rushing to file their income tax returns at district offices in the coming years. This as the BIR saw significantly less people lined up at their offices during the April 17 ITR deadline yesterday. The Bureau attributes this to the availability of the option to file and pay taxes online. However, the BIR notes that there are still taxpayers who filed their tax returns at the last minute. The Bureau also warned that the remaining 4% who did not meet the deadline this year will be charged with interest. The Bureau of Immigration rolled out its e-travel system over the weekend, which seeks to make airport procedures faster and more convenient. The agency reports that around 32,000 arriving foreign and local passengers and 14,000 departing Filipinos used the system on April 15, the first day of the rollout. The e-travel system is a single data collection platform for arriving and departing passengers that establishes an integrated border control, health, surveillance, and economic data analysis. This means passengers are no longer obligated to fill out departure and arrival cards at the Immigration, Quarantine, and Customs. All inbound passengers and crew members are required to register through the website etravel.gov.ph not earlier than 72 hours before their intended arrival. Meanwhile, only outbound Filipino passengers are required to register in the system not earlier than 72 hours but not less than 3 hours before departure. Those who fail to register may do so before quarantine assessment for arrivals or before immigration inspection for departing Filipinos.
We've been receiving great feedback about the system. It's actually the same. It's very similar to the systems that are being implemented in many countries worldwide. So, malaki po yung tulong nito doon sa mga bumabiyahe because there's no more hassle of having to write on sheets of paper na paulit-ulit po nila ginagawa. Lalo po kung marami po tayong kasama in our family, marami pong isusulat kahit po sa comfort of their own homes nila gawin yung pagsusulat doon. Malaki pong tulong at madali po pag alis po nila sa bansa, dire-diretso na po sa immigration.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us again at 9:45 a.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Diego Castro. We are One News. All sides, all the time.